recording. And I am going to go live. You should see something that says going live.
Yeah.
You see it?
I see recording.
Okay.
But
So we're not live yet.
I accepted it when I did accept the recording of going live.
Okay. So you stood. Yeah, English is hard. You should see something that says live. And I don't see it on mine either. So I actually don't know. Now I gotta check my social channels to make
See
sure
what's going on. Yeah. What channel will it be on?
I'm streaming to the group, Coaches Host Engaging in Profitable Virtual Summits.
Okay.
But it still should be. Nope.
Try to use that as my.
Nope. Okay, I'm gonna do it again. Live on custom streaming. Preparing to live stream the meeting. Okay. I don't know what happened, but if I can't go live, I can use the recording on OneStream to say that it's live anyway, but it'll be about 45 minutes to an hour later.
Okay.
Okay. Because once I've hooked up everything, I can't really go back because I am not sure how. Let's see. I started the session, I hooked up OneStream and I used my stream key. And well, see, I will just go live on Facebook. Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Okay.
And then I will use the recording later. Let's see, paste and go live. So that way we'll be streaming live somewhere.
Okay.
Preparing to, oh, do you see it?
I got it. Yeah.
Oh, hooray. So that means we're live. Finally. Hey everyone, welcome to Talk Virtual. This is Erica Bates. I am here with Jackie Bailey. Jackie, please tell us about yourself.
Hey, Erica, it's great to be here. I am, as you say, Jackie Bailey, and I am a professional speaker, coach, mentor, and specifically right now I run a nonprofit that's called the Speak, Feed, Lead Project, because we help children, teens, and adults to speak with power, to feed others in word and deed, and lead with positive influence. And I also have a for-profit company as well, but right now the nonprofit is my focus in empowering kids.
How'd you get started with your nonprofit?
Well, I got started with it because I was teaching public speaking classes with my for-profit business. And I recognized that we weren't reaching all the kids that needed this empowered speaking skills. And in trying to get with people in the public school system, they told me, well, we'd like to help you out and love to have things like that at our school, but you got to be a nonprofit for us to work with you. And knowing that they already had relationships with these kids who needed our programs, that was the impetus to becoming a nonprofit. So now we can accept all kids and we offer discounted rates to zero fees for our programs based on the situation each child is in, and we can make that determination. And so we are reaching the unreachable kids before. We still want to get into prison systems. We want to get into the foster care systems, the homeless shelters, and things like that, that help those kids too, and give them that empowered skill. So we're still growing, expanding all over the country and all over the world.
Yeah. To have the ability to communicate is very powerful. To have the ability to be understood is powerful. So I really like what you're doing. I do believe that once you know yourself, you'll know what you want to ask for from others, and to have the ability to communicate that is amazing.
So true. I love the way you said that when we know ourselves, and unfortunately, our kids don't often know themselves. When I think about my past as a kid in an abusive home, I was told not to tell. It was a secret, right? And so I was made voiceless in that regard. I never felt comfortable in social situations, always afraid that I might say something I wasn't supposed to say, tell something I wasn't supposed to tell. And so it held me back. It kept me from being me. And for a long time, I really didn't know who I was. And statistics will tell us that 1 out of 3 or 1 out of 4 kids are in the same situation I was. And they're being held back in some regard, besides the fact that during this pandemic that we've all been living through, children have suffered far more than we can imagine, because their whole lives were about routine. It was about learning. It was about expanding and growing and learning more and more about who they are and what they enjoy and that kind of thing. And all of that was taken from them when so many school systems shut down and they couldn't socialize with friends. They couldn't go to school and learn, even though most kids will tell you they don't like school. It's part of who they are, it's part of the system. And for them, the system was completely broken and they were silenced in so many ways. So all of our children right now have suffered some sort of trauma. And when that trauma occurs, it changes who you are, or it keeps you from actually knowing who you are. So being able to speak out about something that you find is joyful, or even to talk about your challenges and not feel judged for that, or not worry about how it's going to affect the rest of your family, to really say what's true for you, that's magical for kids. And that's what we do in our classes.
I like that. When school shut down and my 6-year-old was home, I was kind of a little bit happy because I could tell him anything and he just believed me. I would tell him that he couldn't go back to school unless he learned how to tie his shoes. He believed me. He knows how to tie his shoes now. But yeah, he has been spending most of the time just in the house with us, being bored, going to the school of YouTube, learning how to draw. But yeah, he definitely misses hanging out with people his own age.
Yeah, kids need that. When I think back at my young years and how I learned to negotiate, I don't want to do this. Well, I want to do that. Well, how about if we do this? And you learn how to work things out with people. You learn about who the bullies are. You learn about who you can trust. And all of those relationship things you learn as a kid are so vital to the way you become a business owner or an employee or a spouse later on. And so our kids have missed perhaps a year or more of those skills. And we're not going to know for a really long time the true effects of that. So
Yeah.
I'm grateful for the parents who stepped up quickly like you and started really working on ways to empower their children, even though the school systems weren't doing it. A lot of parents I know really worked hard at keeping their kids active and engaged in good things.
Yeah. Well, I can't really blame the school. They shut down because most of their staff had COVID.
Well, it's true. Yeah. Yeah. For the kids, though, the reasons don't matter as much as just that it happened, right?
Yeah. Yeah. They did have school online, but during the summer when they didn't, I'm a graphic designer. My husband is a graphic designer. We're both artists. That's why we sit and watch YouTube videos about drawing. I didn't want to let you think that we just sit there watching YouTube videos about drawing and there was no reason behind it.
Yeah. I'm certain there was a reason. I didn't question that at all.
Okay, Jackie. You run a lot of events, a lot of workshops. You help a lot of people. I want to know your process. How'd you get your process down? Because you run like, what'd you say, 3 to 5 workshops a week?
Yeah, in our peak, when our classes are running smoothly and filled and students are banging on the doors to get in, myself, one teacher at a time can do about 10 classes a week. 10, and those are 10 60-minute to 90-minute workshops a week with children. And the process is that you've got to know what you want to teach. So we have a very well-designed curriculum for our workshops that is based on the foundational skill of conversation. Our children, because of social media and the age of technology, have really lost the skill of face-to-face conversation. And if you talk to most parents, they will say, when I ask my kid how his day was, he'll just go, or fine. You know, there's these grunts and one word answers. And parents appreciate it so much after a few weeks in our courses that their children actually start talking to them and they initiate conversation with them. So our foundational piece of the curriculum is conversation. And from there, then we take those conversational skills onto how do you be a conversational speaker on stage? How do you craft a story and how do you become an engaging storyteller? We work on monologues and how they emote with their voices and their gestures and using emotions in all of their conversation, speeches, storytelling, and so forth. So our curriculum is well designed that we learn skill on skill, and it's step-by-step process that when you learn the foundation, then it gives you access to more and more to be able to do with those basic skills. And so the key to that is being prepared and not showing any disorganization or weakness. Because if you show weakness in front of the troops, they will eat you alive. And so you've always got to be on. I think I was telling you earlier about how exhausting it can be, because when you're working with kids, you have got to be your best. You got to bring your A game every time and be on for that entire 60 minutes or 90 minutes so that you can give your very best. And that way they will learn the very best from you. So that's my system is preparation. It's understanding the value of what you're teaching and then engaging with the kids one-on-one and making sure that they're understanding the concepts that you're teaching, giving them time to hear it, to see it, and then apply it all within minutes of each other. So that's what we find is the best retention tool, is all three of those at the same time. So as they're learning, they are taking notes. They get an agenda. Part of our program is they get an agenda that they have to print out and they have to fill in blanks as we go through class. So they're hearing something, they're seeing an image on a slide or something like that. And then they're writing down information that's left out of their agenda. And that way it helps them to retain the information so much better.
I like that. Would you happen to have a checklist for this?
A checklist. I
Yeah.
don't, but I could.
I was going to say that would make a really nice lead magnet for your program.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what we do use for a lead magnet right now is we start every class, every session with a Positive Prime video. Now, Positive Prime is a brand new program. It's a system, it's a method. It's almost like a vision board on steroids, but it is scientifically based. That deals with neural pathways in the brain that help us to feel certain emotions. And so what our students see is 3 minutes of images that are of people smiling, serving, having fun together, learning things. They also see or read positive affirmations like, my message matters. I can speak up when I need to, things like that. And they're also hearing music that is uplifting. And they're seeing this in about 3 minutes. And science has proven that in 3 minutes of a positive prime session, they get 6 hours of a more positive attitude. They feel more successful. They feel more powerful. They feel more capable. They feel happy. And that's the way we start. So all of our classes start on this positive note, and it keeps them positive throughout. And they have access to view this whenever they want to. And it's like a meditation, but even more powerful, because you don't have to try to get inside yourself. There's things flashing at you that your brain is picking up on. Because I think our brain picks up on, 6 million bits of information per second. I mean, it's probably not even the right number, but it's something like that. And so even if these images come quickly, our brain still gets it, and it reacts as if we're feeling this happy motion. If we're seeing a picture of kids talking and laughing together, then it makes us feel like we're actually there experiencing it. And so it raises their emotion level in a more happy way. So that's the way we start. And that's my lead magnet is I offer that for free for 10 days trial, where you have access to hundreds of other positive prime sessions from people like Jack Canfield and Sean Acor. And then if you decide not to pay, I think it's like $20 a month, $19 a month to have this at your fingertips all the time, then you still get to keep my session for free. And you can view it as much as you want. It's really a great session for kids to watch with their parents, and for parents to bring out before school, the kids leave for school, and get them positive and ready to succeed for the day. It's a really cool program.
I like it. I heard Tony Robbins talk about priming. When you first started talking about it, I was like, is this a hype video? But when you said priming, it made me think of Tony Robbins. You spoke
Yeah.
of neurons in the brain. Have you heard of the three brain theory? And if you have, do you believe it?
I don't think I've heard of the 3 brain theory. Tell me about it.
So supposedly we have three brains: head, heart, and your gut. All because this is where the neurons are found, and most of them are found in those three places. Um, Supposedly, the gut has more neurons than anywhere else. That's all I know.
I believe that actually Dr. Stephen Gundry, he doesn't necessarily talk about that particular part of scientific brain studies, but he does say that the gut health is everything. And that when your gut is healthy, it is actually the brain of your body that leads to health in everything else. So he's a doctor that he's got several books out there about longevity. The Longevity Paradox is one of his books. And I follow that specifically because I've had gut issues my whole life, and it has affected all of my health. I have chronic diseases like fibromyalgia and Hashimoto's disease, and I had endometriosis until they ripped all my organs out and dealt with it. But and it's all because of gut health, right? And so now I live specifically through Dr. Gundry's system, and it is true then that our gut is actually our brain. It's actually our brain, because that is where all of our health comes from. And in fact, if we can keep our gut healthy, I think COVID is less of an issue for us. And which I think our government really should be touting more strongly is be healthy. They kind of shut down all the gyms during the pandemic, and I think that was the wrong thing to do. People needed to exercise. They needed to get out. They needed to strengthen their immune system. And the CDC is dropping the ball in that concern, because I think they need to be telling us how to be more healthy, and not just how to stay away from each other.
Yeah,
I think
people
that
are
would really
complaining
help.
about washing their hands.
our immune system is set up to fight off these types of things. And so when it becomes weak, it can't do that. So somebody needs to get on the bandwagon here and start talking about strengthening our immune system. And Dr. Gundry would tell you it's through the brain of our gut. Absolutely.
Hearing you say that, all I heard was stop eating sugar, and I kind of felt sad.
No, you don't have to. You know what? Dark chocolate is my new love because it doesn't have as much sugar in it, and it's proven to be a good antioxidant, so it's healthy for you. And so that is my one vice right now is I will eat as much dark chocolate as I can get my hands on. So we can still have sugar. It just needs to be in appropriate forms and amounts, I think. So don't deny yourself things like that. Use them in moderation.
You're fun. I can go down rabbit holes all day, but I gotta get back on the subject.
Get back on track here.
Yeah. So tell me about your first event.
Gosh. Okay. So I think you're referring to a summit that I put on last time. Let me tell you about that. It was literally a summit that I put on because we were in the throes of a pandemic. Our children were being isolated. They were feeling alone. The suicide rate was climbing. And although I know the importance of public speaking skills, I felt like what we needed to focus on was giving kids hope. What I've heard from my students is that they're very concerned about global warming. And they're taught in school that this is something that could, destroy our planet. And so the kids really have learned how to focus on that as the natural disaster that is going to change our planet, although it's 12 to 20 years away. So that was something that they're concerned about and felt this great desire to fight against. Yeah. But when the pandemic hit, that became the immediate disaster in their life. And now all of a sudden, they haven't had the tools necessary to be resilient during these times because they always thought it was 12 to 20 years off. Now it hits them right in the face. And so our children were committing suicide at high rates. They were getting depressed. They were getting illnesses, physical illnesses. And so I felt the need to give them something that would help them lighten their load, broaden their perspective, and help them feel happier. And so we put on a summit that was called the Spika Summit. And I invited 50 speakers that I knew were motivational and could have a message for kids to come in over a 10-day period of time. And we had the summit from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. every day for 10 days, 5 days in a row, 5 days, weekdays. Okay, so there was a weekend break. And the speakers would come in, they'd talk for 45 minutes. Then we would have a wheel of names sort of giveaway. And then at the top of the hour, after a little bit of a break, we would come back with the next speaker. And I had no idea what I was doing. I had never put on a summit before. And yet I had a wonderful network of tremendous speakers. I'm a professional speaker myself, so I know a lot of really great people who have wonderful motivational messages. So thankfully with that, I brought in these 50 speakers, and the kids didn't come in like in droves like we wanted them to, but we had families that were on the summit together listening to these messages. And the kids that were involved were engaging and would come on screen and talk with us and talk to the speaker. And we discuss issues and problems and how they were feeling about certain things. And I did have a technician who was running things in the background for me. I was running the images and the slideshow, and her name was Linda Vorthman. She was running, getting the speakers as they came in, doing a little back check with them, making sure technology was working, checking their sound and things in a breakout room, and it was all done on Zoom. And then getting us all ready. I couldn't have done it without Linda, for sure. That she was a godsend. And we did it. I mean, we somehow managed to make this happen. We recorded it. And I think that's when the challenges came in, is taking those 6-hour-long recordings, because we didn't stop the tape in between presentations. We probably should have. If I had to do it again, that's what I would do. But so we had these really long recorded sessions of video. And then I needed to hire somebody that could kind of break those apart, put intro, outro music, bumpers, and that kind of thing, so that we could make it an evergreen summit. Well, unfortunately, that took far too long. It took months, actually. And by the time we had that ready to put out to provide for the people who weren't able to make it, or for the people who wanted the recordings of it, it just wasn't that big a deal anymore. We had waited too long for it, and we put it out there for a little while on our website. There was not really any bites about it. And I think it was just because the momentum was gone, and we lost that window of opportunity to really allow people to know what this was. Because then we had to backtrack, kind of explain, well, last summer, this is what we did. Da, 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 da. It really wasn't successful for us. So the key thing I learned there is you've got to have the right tech people to take your material right away and create something from it within a few days of the event, and get it out there while the iron is still hot. Strike while it's hot. So that's what I learned from that. But we did have tremendous speakers, and I appreciated their support so much. And we did provide a lot of great material and uplifting opportunity for the students that were there. So it was a win, mostly.
Well, I want to share some information that will hopefully help you. You've ran a summit last year. You have it recorded now. It is not too late to run it again. And if you want to have some part of it live, say, hey, I have this Facebook group, I have this Discord group, I'm here on LinkedIn. We can talk about it in the chat here.
Yeah.
You can take snippets of it and put it out. It's like, hey, check out this event. Still sell it.
Yeah.
Let them know. And say that you're going to be live in the chat for so many days. Like,
that's a great idea.
Don't let that great summit go to waste. I mean, because 50 speakers, that's ambitious. And it's like, wow. So I like to tell people to start off with 10 to 12, because that makes a good portfolio. And I'm speaking as a graphic designer when I say that.
Yeah.
But 50, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was a little over the top. Like I said, I think I was real naive in going into it. And that was probably a positive thing, because if I had any inkling of how much work it was going to be, I probably would not have done. But being ignorant or naive about it and just going for it and not worrying about what might or may not happen, we were able to touch some hearts, and that's the important thing. So I do have plans for a 5-hour workshop. We're not going to call it a summit necessarily, but it's a 5-hour workshop that's going to be targeted for middle school, high school, and those college kids that are in their first couple of years of college, to help them prepare for that event. So we've got a speaker that her name is Denise Thomas, and she's going to be talking about how to get scholarships for college and not pay anything for 4 years of college, and actually have money left over as well. She's got great tips and secrets for that. We've got another celebrity, so to speak, in Dr. Moses McCutcheon. He runs a nonprofit, and he's got an assessment tool to help kids, teenagers, know what is their aptitude in certain areas so that they don't have to waste time thinking, I'm going to go to college and learn this. Then, a 6 months to a year into it, they go, I hate this. Now what am I going to do? Because I've already thought this was going to be my major. So it breaks all of those barriers down. Then they learn through this assessment and through coaching where their strengths are so they can pick the right area to learn in from the get-go. So we've got that speaker. We've got Dale. Oh my gosh, I can't remember her last name just offhand. She is a coach that helps kids prepare for college by teaching them how to cook some basic things, how to manage time, how to study successfully so that they don't have to cram for tests and exams last minute. So things like that, life skills. And I will be doing a session about how to write that personal essay or create that personal video that many colleges now are requiring in their application. So a lot of kids don't know, well, what do I have to say? I don't really have any life problems. What could I talk about in this essay or this video that would encourage this university to accept me as a student? So we work on that. And so it's going to be a great program. And we've got that coming up on October 16th. We're going to start promoting that soon, but just so you have a heads up. So I do have another program planned besides the classes that I give every week. And that will be recorded and that will be also evergreen. So it will be out in there. And I've got help with that this time. So
Hooray.
And it's a lot shorter. So it's not as, scary.
Well, if you're using Zoom, I do recommend leaving it as the long recording, or else you'll have like 8 different videos.
Oh, really? Okay. Good to know. So I didn't do it wrong then.
You did a good job. I would also like to recommend repurpose.io, just in case you want to use it wherever on social that you want to. Repurpose, like let's say we're streaming to Facebook right now. We're streaming to a group. So in Facebook, there is the Creator Studio. And in that Creator Studio, I can make timestamps of wherever I want to stop. Repurpose sees that and makes snippets from those timestamps. You don't have to use the timestamps if you don't want to. If you want Repurpose to make the snippets by itself randomly, it will do that. You tell it where you want that content to go. Like right here, you spoke about your next event coming up on the 16th of October. You can take a little snippet of that and use it as promotion for your event. Repurpose will do that for you.
Wow.
Also, there is a Perfect Recall. Perfect Recall you can take this Zoom video, you can upload it to it, and you'll read the transcripts and you take out the parts that you want to make a clip of.
Wow. Yeah. That sounds too good to be true.
I love automation. Automation is your friend when you're hosting events. I think it's very helpful and very useful and time saving. And you can also ask somebody else to do it for you. So if you got help, tell them about these programs. Like, use this so we can get this stuff out faster.
Nice. I will do that. Yeah, I'm definitely going to get help with that. Someone who can just do it. I don't want to have to learn new stuff.
Understand.
I got so much to do. Learning new stuff like technology distracts me from engaging with my students. And that's the more important part for me. So I'm going to remember the names of all this stuff and I'm going to hire somebody to do it for me.
That's the way to go. So, it was something else I wanted to tell you. Like when you get this video of the recording of this video, make snippets of it and take out the parts where you're talking about your upcoming event. Take out the parts where you're talking about helping students.
Yeah.
People want this stuff. You have given me great information.
Well, good. Awesome. Well, thank you. I'll do that.
Okay.
So you like Zoom. Now, when you use Zoom in, say, a summit, do you use the webinar version of it or I don't even know if it's the regular Zoom. I don't know if there's a special name for it, but all I know is there's
Meeting.
either a webinar or there's the standard Zoom. So what do you like best?
So right now we're using meeting. Meetings will let you
Okay.
have 100 participants. But if you're doing a summit, you would need the webinar because it will let you have, I think, 1,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, the thing I don't like about the webinar is it's not as engaging, right? I mean, you can't always talk with people straight up.
That's true.
Yeah.
But
So I wonder if keeping it small, I think especially with kids, I feel like keeping it small is probably better than 1,000 people, because I'm not sure how you would engage with 1,000 kids and get actual
you would need
effectiveness.
several Zoom links,
Yeah.
and you would need several screens and some switchers like an ATM mini. I'm not sure if you know of any of these products, but that's what you would need. You would
No,
have to.
brain exploded.
Okay, I'll stop.
Yeah.
But if it was just you and one other person, no, you couldn't speak to them directly. You would probably have to make one of them a host if you want someone to talk. They would probably have to message you in a chat. You'll probably have to have somebody watch the chat, and then you could find their name and make them a co-host. But there's always breakout rooms. Zoom will let you randomly put people in breakout rooms. Zoom will let you make a list of the breakout rooms you want, and they can pick themselves.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
But my next event will be hosted in AirMe. It'll be my first time using it, and I love AirMe.
AirMe. Okay, that's new for me. So tell me what you know about AirMe.
So the good and bad thing about AirMe is that it has a lounge, and I love the lounge. The good and bad thing about AirMe is that it lets me go in and out the lounge if I want to, not the host. But as the host, you do have the ability to turn it on and off. But if you have speakers and they're boring, people will leave and go hang out in the lounge. But what you
So tell me
can
about
do,
this lounge. What happens in the lounge?
what happens in the lounge stays in the lounge. I say that because you can record the main stage, but each table in the lounge, you cannot record. Each table in the lounge has its own chat. It has its own screen sharing ability, and you can have 2 to 8 tables. I'm sorry, you can have 2 to like 250 tables if you want. You get to decide how many tables and how many chairs. You can decorate your tables with the speakers' names or your logos or your sponsors' logos. But if I were you and you're having an event in AirMeet, I would have someone from my team sit at each of those tables to try to keep the conversations on the event, or at least on the topics.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So that sounds complicated.
No.
No.
So far, this, like I said, this will be my first event. So far, the setup's going smoothly. I'll know more after October 23rd.
Okay.
But yeah, I've set it up for 500 tables, 8 chairs each. Getting my logos placed on the tables, getting my booth set up. Another thing about the lounge is that there is a speed networking. It's like a speed dating, but for business people or whatever your event is.
Wow. So who attends your events?
Speakers, coaches, authors, event planners, consultants, trainers, teachers.
Okay.
Because I want people to host events. I want them to know that it's easy with automation. And if you need help, there is help out there. It's available to you.
I just need to take a long, deep breath because it seemed, I'm sure that it's pretty easy, but it seems complicated to learn something new like that. But I'm someone who, if someone's willing to say this is how to do it, show me the template and I can copy and paste. I'm pretty good with that,
Yes.
So it sounds like most of these newer modes of technology are trying to be very, what's the word I'm looking for? Easy, or you know, my mind is going. I can't think of how I want to say that, but it's never mind. Go ahead, say something else.
Well, another thing about AirMe is that in your personal account, there is a help button, and that help button takes you to the lounge. And in that
Okay.
lounge, there are AirMe helper people. And if you want help setting up the event, they will help you do that.
I like helpers. Good.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm excited to know how that goes with you.
All
When
right.
did you say your event is?
The 23rd of October.
23rd of October, and this is your first time with what'd you call it
AirMe.
again? AirMe.
AirMe. Yeah.
So what others have you tried that are like AirMe?
Remo is pretty nice. I found it pricey. I'm not sure if you seen Talk Virtual or not, but I am addicted to Appsumo. It is my shiny object. Every time I get an email that says that new, I am there. I get like 200 emails a day, but I swear that new sticks out to me, and I'm back on Appsumo.
Wow, you are like speaking a whole different language right now.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. You know, it's like technology is ever changing, and just when you think you got it, then there's something completely new that you have to change. And there's great things about that. It's wonderful because I think as human beings, we're always kind of like looking for that new thing, you know, and so it keeps us going. It keeps us from getting stale. But also at the same time, we've got to be able to change what we're doing quickly and be willing to try something new. And like I said, I just get tired thinking about it because I'm all about learning, but I like to learn in an easy way.
Understand. I remember what I wanted to tell you about your last event. I attended an event that was 3 days. It was 8 to 12 hours long, depending on how the host felt that day. But it was really good. The thing that got me is that they told me that even if you sign up for the recording, it'll be 6 months before you get it, because we have to do stuff to it. So we want you to be there and engage with us and take as many notes as you can, so you won't have to wait for the recording.
Interesting.
I call this Stockholm Syndrome because at the end they said psych. They
Yeah.
gave me the recording within 2 weeks. And but I did find out new information. Like they were live streaming the first day to YouTube. And I was like, wow, I want to do that.
Yeah.
But so just tell them how long you think it will be, you know, like Scotty on Star Trek telling the captain that it's going to take so many hours to fix the engine, but it only takes an hour.
Right. Yeah. So I like that. Yeah. That's good. So of everything you've tried, what do you think if I were to do another event, what is the absolute thing I have to do?
Ask for help.
Ask
Even though
for
you had
help.
one person, try to have at least 4 people.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And ask them what they're good at. Ask them what they want to do. Tell them that you need somebody to watch the chat. Tell them that you need somebody to stream produce. Tell them that you need someone to drop slides or play music. If you want to be on Zoom and you happen to have 1,000 people and you need screens, you need someone who has an ATM mini or with a switcher. Yeah, use them.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm going to remember that.
Well, I am looking forward to your next event. I hope I haven't scared you. like I said, you need help, there is help available and there's plenty of it. If you're in coaches host engaging in profitable virtual summits, there's event planners. There are coaches here who's hosted plenty of events that are willing to help.
Okay, awesome. I'm going to do that.
Hooray.
Tap in.
So tell us
Engage.
one more time, October 16th, what is your event about?
It's called, oh gosh, I'm a little bit off my mindset. Let me think. It's called I can't think right now. I wasn't prepared for it. I'm sorry. The name of it is just totally off my radar. But it's going to be 5 hours of really good information to help kids that are ready for middle school, high school, and preparing for college. They will be able to learn how to have free college scholarships, 100% paid. They're going to learn how to know what they're going to learn in college and not bobble, but they're going to know exactly where they're going to be learning so they don't have to backtrack or try or get bored or tired of learning their college, thing that they want to focus on. They're going to learn how to be prepared for all of the things that college faces for them and how to understand to make a plan, how to set goals, how to work on basic ready to make meals during college when you're moving away from home, and how to use time management effectively. And they're going to be ready to create their ability to know how to get ready for their admission papers and make that programs shine for them and talk to those people who are ready to hear and welcome them into their programs because they've got a great message available. So it's going to be a really great thing. And I'm totally excited about it, but I can't remember what we decided to call it. Oh my gosh. And I've got some helpers. So we're working together, and we've got another set aside program tomorrow that we're working on. So we're getting ready to get it out there, but it's going to be exciting. So
All right. Well, even though we're streaming this live to Facebook, I still got other platforms I need to stream this to. If you think of the name, if you happen to have a lead magnet for this event, I will put that with that. And
okay.
the email for this talk you and I doing right now will come out on, I think it's Monday.
Okay.
So you got a little time.
Awesome. That sounds great.
Ooh, Jackie, I appreciate you hanging out with us and talking about events. Where can we reach you?
You can reach me at speakfeedlead.org. And that is our website where you will see all of the classes that are available for kids grades 4 and 5, for programs for grades 6 to 8, and programs through 9 through 12. We also have programs for adults. And you can also try our Positive Prime session that will tap into changing your mindset and help everything to be more happy and helpful in life. It's going to help you to be able to feel more successful in everything you do. So speakfeedlead.org. Find us there. And we are working right now on a compilation book that our students are writing together. 40 of our students are going to write one chapter of this book, and we are hope to have that ready done by the end of the end of this year, 2021. And they're going to be able to their chapter will be about anything they want to. It could be a story that they want to tell. It could be an experience that they've had. It could be poetry. So whatever they want to talk about in their chapter of this book, and on our website, they can donate to help our kids to be part of this. This is a special
That's
book.
nice.
So, yeah, it's really exciting. So we're looking forward to that. Yeah,
I like that you work with kids.
it's fun.
I feel like you give them more opportunity. I feel like there's more opportunity out there because you're out there helping them.
Yeah, they need to feel they need to know that what they have to say is valuable and worth being heard. And that's really what our kids need right now. So
Yeah.
thank you for allowing me some time to talk about what we do and help me so much with some new ideas that we can implement. So thank you.
All right. See you next time, Jackie.
All right.